This is going to be just a short video. We're going to look at one of Australia's forgotten mass shootings, which occurred on Thursday morning, August 30th, 1990, in Surry Hills, Sydney. And that was the massacre committed by 37-year-old Paul Anthony Evers, who on that morning went on a shooting spree inside a Housing Commission unit block in Surry Hills. He shot dead 5 people, 4 neighbours and his flatmate, partner, half-sister. So this occurred obviously in Sydney, Australia, so let's go and zoom in just to one location to look at. So this is why it's only going to be a short video. So we're going down to 16 Clisdell Street in Surry Hills, which is an inner suburb of Sydney. Surry Hills is. So this unit block here, if you can just see, on Clisdell Street. Yeah, it's several unit blocks here. There's a larger one over here. There's several in the area. I believe they're all social housing units. Very close to the, as you can see up here, let me just get this in. So yeah, Evers committed the rampage here. This is, over here is Central Station, and let's get that a bit further up, and up here is the Central Business District of Sydney, so very close to the city. But yeah, right in here is where the rampage happened, in this building here was where the 5 people shot. So let's go down and have a look at the exact locations, on location, of the Paul Evers mass shooting of 1990. I'm standing in front of number 16 Clisdell Street in Surry Hills, Sydney. It was here in these units, block of units, that a massacre was committed by a man named Paul Anthony Evers. The date was Thursday morning, August the 30th, 1990, and 37-year-old Paul Evers was a resident of these units, and armed with a shotgun one morning, he shot dead 5 people before eventually calmly surrendering. Now there are unit blocks, so not exactly sure the number that Evers was in, but it was inside this building where 5 people were shot dead. That Thursday morning began when Evers shot dead his neighbour, Thomas Cullis. Now Evers believed that Cullis had called him a doll bludger. There'd obviously been some beef between the 2 neighbours, because Evers had been previously convicted of assaulting Cullis. And on this morning, after he believed he was called a doll bludger, Evers shot Cullis dead. He then went back to his room, where he then shot dead his half-sister, Michelle Coleman. She was not only his half-sister, but they're also in an intimate relationship together, weirdly, to say the least. But apparently Michelle was planning on leaving Evers, which may have prompted Evers perhaps to kill her. So after he killed his neighbour Thomas Cullis and his half-sister Michelle Coleman, he then went and shot dead 3 more neighbours. After this, he calmly dropped the shotgun, left this building, and went to a nearby shop for a smoke and drinks, then calmly returned back, by which time you can imagine the police had rolled up en masse and calmly surrendered. Now, a local shop, I'm not sure. This is obviously some 33 years ago. I don't see any local shop that could fit the description now. But you know, he may have walked the distance, but that's what happened here on August 30th, 1990. Now in August 1990, this unit block was a housing commission unit block, which is social housing. In Adelaide, South Australia, we have housing trust. I think here in New South Wales, Sydney, it's called the Housing Commission. And so it was a social housing unit in 1990, and I think maybe today it still is. Let's have a bit of a closer look. Just having a closer look at the unit block. As I said, it comprises several different rooms, so I haven't been able to find the exact addresses inside of Evers and his victims, but undoubtedly was in here somewhere. Paul Evers was never found guilty of the 5 murders. Instead, he was convicted of manslaughter due to suffering from schizophrenia. And in 1992, he was sentenced to a minimum of 18 years. I believe a maximum of 25 years. He was released in September 2012, which would make it, what was that, 22 years later? Yeah. But he had his parole revoked in July 2014, less than 2 years later, sorry. Apparently after indecently touching his sponsor's disabled daughter, so went back to prison before being released again in July 2015. And after that, I have no idea what happened to him. He may well still be living in the community. I'm not sure if he still lives in here, but might not take kindly to me standing out here filming if he does. But anyway, so that's the mostly forgotten story of one of Australia's mass shooters, Paul Anthony Evers, here in Surry Hills, Sydney.